All right. I think we are live. Welcome, everybody, back to the Ish Show. It's called that for a reason because I don't know what I'm doing. Uh, I have a great guest today. This dude is a wealth of knowledge and on this subject and some other things. So I'd like to welcome the man of the hour, the Mississippi Mystic, Jules from the Greypilled podcast.
What's up,
I
Stacks?
had some other names written down, but I'm thinking since
Oh,
we're on
dude.
YouTube, we might want to not
Oh,
get into
yeah.
that
Well,
part of it.
there's some names. Yeah, yeah. Subliminal calls me the handsome widget.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I should have
that
went with
kind of.
that one.
I
I was
think we
thinking,
we may do a sticker idea out of that, guys. But yeah. Hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm Jules. I am the host of the Greypilled podcast. Let me break that down a little bit because I do have a lot of shows that I do or that I've done. So Greypilled is my show. It's my brand that I started almost 2 years ago. And it's basically, just deep dives into conspiracies, the esoteric, the mystery schools, the occult, certain things. Just, there's nothing that we don't dive into and nothing that we won't question. And we kind of do deep dive swap casts, interviews, if you want to call it interviews. And then I have a few shows that I do outside of that. So what we'll be talking about tonight, I think you said, Stacks, is I have a show called Elohim Etymology. And it's kind of what I first started off doing when I started the podcast. Basically go through the biblical text and the other non-canonical text around that era. And me and my co-host Adrian West, who is on a hiatus right now because he is expecting a new member to his family. So congrats to Adrian. But we basically go through and look at all of these ancient deities that were worshipped in antiquity and kind of break them down, who they were worshipped as over time. We kind of dive into the pantheons a little bit. And, that all usually leads back to Sumeria with, that fascinating mythology. But that's one show. And then I have, and that's with Adrian West. He is an author. He is a boxer. He is a film producer. He's great. And then I have Sound Science that I do with the Paranoid American. Shout out Thomas. Sound Science. So I'm a drummer. And I grew up. I used to be a rapper. Surprisingly enough, it's pretty funny, but we're not going to go into that. But so I have a musical background. So does Thomas, and he had me on for this show called Sound Science, where I picked 5 of my favorite stoner rock albums, and we kind of talked about them. And then I kind of just hung around. I didn't leave after that, and I became his co-host for the show. And so we do that every now and then. We had some pretty cool guests on there. Shane Cashman, Nicolas Cage's son, Weston Cage, shouts out West. Foundering, Toad came on there. A bunch of cool people came on there. Donut. And then I am part of a panel show called the Occult Rejects. It's full of a bunch of mystics and researchers and spiritualists that research the occult, that have dabbled in it in the past, and we kind of get together and we have folks on. We discuss certain topics. A few shows we've done. We did one on the Count of Saint Germain, just like this mythical, immortal, kind of like ascended master figure, whatever you want to call him. There's a lot that ties into that. Then we had somebody on to discuss the occult life of David Bowie. We had a cryptid huntress on that goes and like hunts these cryptids, but hunts them in like another realm as well. So it's crazy. It's great. Shouts out the occult
ask you real
reject.
quick, Jules.
Yeah.
First, I want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on. And
Thanks for having me, dude. Because me and you have been friends for some time now. Almost. I mean, since I first started. Probably a few months after that was when
I was going to say, man, I've seen you
I joined the
skyrocket.
Dangerous Retards.
Yeah, exactly. I've
To
seen
go
you
back.
skyrocket, though. You were on Tinfoil Hat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Sam is actually coming on Greypilled soon. I don't have a date, but he did. He messaged me back. Luckily, apparently he doesn't message many people back. You got to go through Mark usually. Mark, he books all the shows for him. But yes, Sam, I'm friends with Sam Tripoli now, and used to watch him all the time, and like all these people that I podcast with, it's wild, dude. But and that's the thing, like, and that's why I probably have so many shows is because I meet somebody and I'm like, hey, bro, you want to start a show? I produced for a show called Already Dead that Jose Galison and Austin Picard do. Now Jacob produces, shouts out those guys over there. Love all of them. Did that for about a year. I also do a show with Headless Giant, one of the other co-hosts of the Occult Rejects, where we do like a little series called Rustic Gods, where we talk about the rustic Greek gods in that pantheon, kind of what they represented beyond just looking at them as fallen angels. They represented archetypes, a lot of symbolic things that represented the attributes of the Grecian of that time. And then also I have a Patreon. Everybody knows, and Stax is a member of that Patreon. I appreciate you, brother. Did you get your sticker pack yet?
I did actually. I went and made sure I grabbed one of them.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, y'all got the last of them. I have two more. Well, I have one I'm sending to Egregore Observation. He's getting a sticker pack. But that's it for the Elohim Etymology sticker. I mean, I may print some more, may get a new logo, so I don't know. So hang on to that one, man.
It's going nowhere. I have a couple of them actually, and I have like a whole wall of stickers. And I was thinking to myself, I should put it on the wall. And then I thought, maybe I'll just tape it to the wall.
There you go. Well,
just tape it up there.
That's why I try to send multiple stickers. This thing I just went and printed some, and all my patrons, all the people who support me, which you can by going over to patreon.com/Greypilled Podcast. And we do watch parties over there, exclusive watch parties. We actually watched Twin Peaks, first, second season, the Fire Walk With Me movie, and season 3, The Return. Did an analysis of the whole show throughout it, in which I will be doing episodes of analysis on the show, hopefully with Isaac Weishaupt and some other guests. But you get sticker packs, you get the link to the Discord, you get to get in certain group chats, and we do esoteric book review every Saturday.
That's good.
Yeah, dude. Esoteric book review is me, Season of the Rat, and Subliminal Messenger, as well as Nick from Occult Rejects. And we basically spin a wheel. We pick a book out of a list of certain books talking about the esoteric or something, some kind of mystery school or some kind of theological doctrine, some hidden, it's always real fun because half of the time we never know what we're going to get into when we start reading it.
I mean, that's the cool part about it is that, you're just you're reading it with friends almost. And, the questions from the people that are well-versed in it. That's the interesting part.
Yeah, dude. So, well, I started kind of getting into esoteric symbolism and, and started to realize that there is more to these stories than just what they present to us.
Oh, look, wait, that's actually a good point right there. So this is this is actually my curiosity for this question is I know how much knowledge you bring to these situations, these subjects. How did you get started with it? What was it that got you started? Like, where did you start off? It doesn't have to be a long story. I'm just curious for myself, and I'm sure somebody else might be. Was it like you just found something and you ran with it, or what happened?
Well, let's just say I used to party a bunch. I was wild. It's not a secret. I was addicted to opiates. I'm almost.
Me too.
I'm 8 years clean. Yeah. It's very common now, man, to find people, and usually. It's weird, man. I've found a lot of people in the conspiracy community that used to be addicted to opiates. All the other people I know are dead,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's weird. It's like we all are supposed to be meeting each other or something. I'm sure you dodged death a couple
Oh,
times.
yes.
I know I did, and I think we're here for a reason. I don't believe in any kind of coincidence. I think these synchronicities happen, and they're supposed to happen, and we should recognize them. We should learn how to recognize them. So I started out by realizing, okay, so my wife showed me the Bohemian Grove video back in 2012, probably before we got married. Yeah, it was right before we had our son and we got married. Um, and I didn't really, think about it much. I kind of realized and recognized stuff along the way, especially as I got older with politics and whatnot. You know what I mean? And the
Yep.
culture, and when you have kids, you start to, you broaden your horizon on things,
Yeah,
right?
you
Like
wanna see what their
everything is
futures in somebody's hands
exactly.
that might
It's
not
not just
necessarily
about
be
you
yours.
anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just about you anymore, man. And so, I started to basically, first thing I guess I realized was that there was something like weird going on in Hollywood. Like there's these people are real weird, and they're doing all this weird symbolism, and there's all these weird conspiracy theories, and so I start going down these rabbit holes, and then I go to treatment, I get clean, and basically I'm like, okay, now I'm going down these rabbit holes and I'm learning stuff and I'm remembering stuff. I'm figuring other stuff out. And at the same time, I started to get religious. I was an atheist most of my life. So I started to follow the Christ, and got religious, but not really through the church, so to say, or biblical any biblical doctrine, to be, if I'm being honest, and I think you know this, Stacks, more through the Apocrypha and the Book of Enoch, stuff like that, stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh. It kind of drew me into following Christ, and then especially when you dive down further into these topics and you look at all the relevance it has to our spirituality, and you figure out that like all the cryptid stuff is connected to this, and all like it's all part of this whole unseen realm. You know what I mean? Like,
And
and that's
it's
the
almost
thing,
right there, but you can't see it if you're not paying attention.
right? Well, that's the thing with the esoteric and the exoteric. The exoteric, like an exoskeleton, it's what you see when you just look at something, right? The esoteric is what you see when you look at it with your mind's eye, with a deeper sense of gnosis or knowledge. And a few things. You said Drew was like a normie. What's
Yes.
up, Drew? You
What's
good,
going
bro?
on, Jules? I'm fascinated. I'm absorbing everything you're saying, man. I'm trying to hang on every word. Some of what you're saying,
Gauging his
like
reactions.
yeah, I'm here for comical reactions, but
I'm loving
like
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hollywood and like the symbolisms between those elites. Like I've been catching on to that over the last few years, and they try to play it off, but it's kind of obvious something is bubbling under the surface that if you're not in tune to, you're going to completely miss. But if you're in tune to it, it becomes more and more obvious. I've been
Well,
noticing it.
yeah, and when you learn who Aleister Crowley is,
Oh boy.
like a whole like a whole another world just opens up in front of you, and you're like, holy shit, these people are
Mr. Crowley.
sick, dude. Yeah, man, Crowley, he's he took just basic esoteric themes, and he made it part of his Thelema religion, and subverted it. It's what all the New Age occultists did with the ancient mysticism, and so he is the most revered in Hollywood in the art, or I mean that whole industry. I guess you could say like the entertainment industry. But like all these people reference him in their artwork and their imagery, and wear him on their clothes, and quote him
Let
in
me
their
hold
music.
on.
And he's
What,
still
Drew,
alive.
have you
This is a living person, or this is
No,
somebody from.
you would think he was alive, dude. The way he is worshipped
yeah.
as I mean, let's face it, as this God, because he's worshipped as one. Uh, he, you would think he was alive, and in some form he may. I mean, dude, if you look into certain forms of magic, these people may be able to access certain pockets or realms where they can go, their spirit can go. It may not be such a good realm, but they're pieces of shit. What do they care? They go there and they wait out until a ritual is done here that summons them back into another body. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but
Yeah, I know,
a lot
right?
of that stuff comes from parts of reality that
Dude,
we may not be really fully in tune to.
revelation of the method, brother. It's what they present to us in all these sci-fi movies and this fantastical, forms of entertainment that they tell us this is all fiction, this is mythology, when really, they all believe this stuff is real. They want to push dinosaurs on us, but then tell us that dragons didn't exist or giants didn't exist. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me? You know?
yeah, and you
Hold
mentioned
on, real quick,
Bohemian.
real quick, real
What's
quick.
up? What's up?
The
What's up?
revelation of the method. Uh, I'm certain Drew doesn't know what that is, meaning most of the people that might be seeing this doesn't know what that is. And that could be an important thing to help somebody draw the connection. So, I mean, I could explain it, but I think you'd probably do a better job.
Yeah, well, it's really the revealing of something done behind the scenes through uh, something like a movie or some form like putting it out there to show people like, hey, this is what's going on, but most folks won't recognize it. It's only the few who can see, you know, that can recognize
They're
it.
showing you what they're almost like a primer. They're going to show you what's capable of happening through a movie or a commercial or a TV show. And that's sort of how it's
Yes,
relayed to be like, this is
and
what we're capable of doing.
it's a part of the ritual as well,
You know
right?
what? This is making me think of The Simpsons, which supposedly has this long-standing. They predict things. They create these scenes that like eerily relate to reality that happens after the fact, whether it's
Hmm.
political or it's just economical or whatever it is. And it's like it's freaky because this is going on almost 30 years that they're doing this, 20 something years, or whatever it is. So that to me
Right?
makes me think like, again, coincidence once, twice, not dozens of times. There's something going on here that
Well, I mean, dude,
they're
when
throwing in
Kobe
our face.
Bryant, yeah, when Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter wreck with his daughter, and then they show that like months before, right? Um, him dying, like in a helicopter, there's something that they have. Maybe it's some kind of technology. Maybe one of the Simpsons creators is part of some bloodline where he's granted access to certain. I mean, you could call it magic, right? This ancient technology. I think it's ancient technology. It's just a theory, but uh, fallen angel tech, whatever you want to call it. That they can see the future. They can even time travel. Uh, Open. Well, I mean, they use certain devices, I'm sure, to open portals, and that's all with cymatics and sound resonance, vibrational frequencies, and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. You know what show that I liked that actually had some of these things that I watched recently? It's a WB, the Flash,
Mm-hmm.
the series, like nine
Yeah,
seasons.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they get into like there's a character called Vibe. He can have premonitions. He can see events. He can open portals, dark matter, all these kinds of
Shit.
things that are like it's fiction, but it's again
He's a magician then, or like
yeah.
he's
So
a
I kind of feel like there's got to be some sort of truth, even though they're peddling it as fiction, because it's just too much. It's just it's almost too believable in the sense of how they present it, like it's not possible, but
dude.
it's
It
possible.
it's easier to trick a man than convince him he's been tricked, dude.
I was thinking
I,
that.
I it, it's unfortunate. Think about this. I have people in my family, my immediate family, not my household, but that will not, like, just won't listen to me. Just like they know that something's up. They know that, like, they hear me about some things, but like it's just like, yo, like, do you not listen to me because I'm younger, and maybe, it's some kind of boomer thing where they just don't want to, you know,
I think
they can't humble themselves to take advice from someone younger than them, or admit that, like, oh, my son was right, or, my nephew was right, or whatever. I don't know what it is.
when I deal with this with my relatives, and again, I'm not, I'm a normie to the general sense, but I think it's you're in a sense you're shattering their entire belief system that they were spoon fed off of for 40, 50, 60, 70 years. So now for them to come to the realization that a lot of it was wrong or false or
Yeah.
completely different, it's like they can't fathom it.
and
So
think and think
they fight.
they're at that age too,
Yeah.
where it's like, you know, why change, right? Especially if you're living comfortably, you already got your
Yeah.
pension and your 401k, and you're like, dude, like, yeah, it's a struggle. But I mean, I've gotten through to my mom about a lot of things, dude. That's actually, and my mother-in-law. Um, but the more you learn about this stuff, the more you can kind of relate these things to other people,
Yeah.
and teach them. And this starting the podcast was a big part of that. I'd come home from work and just talk to my wife for hours about countless bottomless pits of conspiracy theories, and God bless her. I don't know what that may have done to her, just to have to sit there and listen. But
I can relate, dude. I can relate. It's in part why I really wanted to try and do this is because like I
I'm
could
happy
rant
you're doing this.
right at my wife and she's like, I
Dude,
know.
you
And
gotta
like,
come on. Dude, you gotta see. I didn't even know you were doing a show like this. Like, I had heard,
it's
and I was
only like
like,
the fourth episode.
oh, dude, yeah, you gotta. Well, you're already in the fold, so you'll. Yeah, man, we'll try to bring you on in some shows and stuff, and Drew, you too, if you're ever. I think we're about to start trying to do some kind of debate thing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm definitely
Um,
down.
yeah, it's something that we're all thinking about doing. Me and Rat and all the guys. But okay, so
So look, here's what I'd
I,
like.
I got off on a tangent.
It's
I
fine.
think when you asked me
Here's
something. Yeah.
it's fine. So here's what I'm thinking is that there just for context, you would understand this is there's a lot of terminology that gets thrown around to people that either they like when you and I would talk, I would probably understand almost everything you're saying. But
Mhm.
there's going to be a group of people that may watch this that they don't know, when you say certain revelation of the method, what even is an Elohim, right? So like they
Right.
don't know these terms to start with. There's no context, and that's where I think maybe this show we could also bring some more people into the fold by beginner level sort of explaining what some of that actually is because if you realize it would be like me trying to teach electricity to somebody that's never done it before. I'll use terminology that they're like, what do you mean? Like, so
Okay.
what I'm trying to think is what,
I can break
uh,
it down.
yeah. So, I mean,
Well,
I was thinking like the Elohim is something that maybe somebody might have actually heard before through either through biblical talk or things of that nature. But I know that you're going to have a lot that you can add to that. But what I was thinking was, unless you think there's another route to go that would be better to explain, I was just thinking we could start by explaining what are the Elohim? Where were they? Where did they come from? What's your belief on that? Um, what's your research tell you about that? Like, what even are they?
okay. Well, so we can start by, for most people, when I say the occult, that just means hidden. Something is occulted, it means hidden. Um, and so I guess, where can I start?
It's tough. I know. I get it. That's what I was trying.
Dude, the thing is I used to do this all the time, talk about this subject. I haven't had to do it in a while. But because like I said, we quit doing the Elohim etymology because Adrian got caught up. I'm trying to start doing them again. By the way, guys, those go on Patreon as well for the first week or so before I drop them to the public. So there's a lot of perks to Patreon. Okay, so basically, I'm sure most of you, the people who watch our show are familiar with the Bible, right?
I would assume.
Okay, so in the Bible it says, in the beginning, the Elohim created the heavens and the earth, right? Most people think this is God created the heavens and the earth. Now, Elohim is actually plural. El is the singular form. El being the main deity of the Canaanite Phoenician pantheon. So, for everybody, when I reference Satan, just so y'all know, Satan, just like Baal, is a title. Now, you'll see different types of Baals. That's funny. In the Bible, you'll see Baal Zebul, Baal Haman, and then in other Ugaritic texts, you'll see Baal Zephon, Bel. That's another derivative of the word. And these are all different deities, right? But Baal means Lord, comes from the word Bel or Belu. That means Lord. And Satan means adversary. So it's not referencing any particular deity, but I mean, it is, but these particular deities have their own respective names, you know? So there's not, when it's referencing Satan in the Bible, I think it's referencing these different adversaries to God, right? And so this gets into the story of the Anunnaki. And so this is directly related to the angels from Enoch. So Enoch was, oh man, I get my ass kicked for not remembering this.
Great book if you've never read it, the Book
Who
of
is Enoch the son of? Was it Lamech? I think it was Lamech. Or Jared.
I think.
No. I don't know. I think that was Noah. I can look it up.
So, and what we're starting at is that Noah had a family, and from that family, there were kids that were birthed, and then these. How do I don't know the lineage exactly, so I don't want to say anything wrong, but there's a lineage of sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so through the lineage of the sons, there was
Jared. It was Jared. I knew
was it?
I said, was it Lamech or was it Jared? Yeah, it was Jared. So Enoch was the son of Jared. Enoch lived for 365 years and then walked with God. He was no more. What it says in the Bible is that he lived for 365 years and then he was no more, right? He just disappeared. And this, I think, is interpreted as Enoch's ascension, right? His spiritual ascension, because he gets turned into Metatron, this angel, right? That he goes through this alchemical transformation. And I could explain alchemy, but it would take another episode. I'm sure people are familiar with chemistry. Alchemy is just the changing of base metals to gold, but you can also, there's spiritual alchemy of transmuting dark energy to light, which is a Kabbalistic thought. But anyway, I digress. So in the days of Enoch, there were these angels. Angel means a messenger, right? In Greece, it was first translated from the Septuagint, right? So these were these messengers from the Creator. And even the Anunnaki, who were those who fell from heaven to earth, in those stories, they refer to a creator of all as well. So there is this creator God that sent these messengers to Earth to guide humans in some way, and they end up basically taking advantage of the situation and interfering. And that is the story of the fall of these sons of God. Where it's actually, well, the Sons of Light, right? It's actually where the Freemasons get their name, Frey Mason, meaning son well, Frey meaning light, and then Mason, Mason, Sons of Light. And so,
This is the definitions of things that I think a lot of people don't hear. If you get what I'm saying, like,
Yeah,
so
I've
if you
never
say
heard that.
Freemason to somebody, they're thinking they're talking about bricklayers. So that's
Yeah,
sort of like the important
well, yeah,
context of some of this.
the
yeah,
the bricklayers of Solomon's temple.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay, so we're in the days of Enoch. This is before Noah, right? I don't know how many years this is, but this is
I think it's
before
four
Noah.
generations before Noah.
4 generations before Noah. Okay.
I want to say, don't quote me.
And so in the book of Enoch, there's, he meets these angels. Uh, they come to him, I think, in these visions, or he has an outer body experience where he's taken to these different heavens and he's shown the four corners of the earth. You get that four corners of the earth, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a flat earther by any means, but
I don't know her.
I mean, dude, look, maybe flat and hollow. We don't know.
I don't. I mean, that's the honest truth. We were just talking about this on the last show, is that I don't know. And the people that say that it's round, um, I know are liars on some level because it comes from the government. Um, so I just treat it as I would if it was just some person on the street that I knew was a bold-faced liar. I can't trust you. That doesn't mean that they're
Right.
right or that they're wrong. It just means that I don't believe you. And from what I can see, it doesn't look like we're spinning at all. Um, but that's a subject for another time. But I mean, that's my point, is that there's a lot of references to old text that says a lot of stuff that people don't quite. This is why I thought this might be important, and I understand it's a lot to ask to
Right.
try to can try to shrink down and conceptualize these huge topics.
Yeah.
But um, I think that's what I was trying. I know it's just now that I'm thinking about it, what are the Elohim? Like, that just seems like such
Well,
a
yeah. So
really,
the
really big
Elohim
question.
are these fallen angels that it
Like,
is
good.
referring to, right?
Yeah.
And so people think, because they pop up in Enoch, and you don't really see them too much before then, but they were there. They were there before then. They gradually kept coming. So the story of the Anunnaki are the Sumerian translations from mainly from Zechariah Sitchin. You have people like Lawrence Gardner and what's his name? I can look at the book; it's right behind me. William Bramley, and there's a bunch of people that wrote about it, and it's these, like I said, those who from heaven to earth came, and you see them talked about in every culture around the world. All these cultures, none of them having anything to do with each other, yet they all have these sky gods, right? That were there at their conception when they were, when they originated, and they all have these similar stories, right? And so I think these are the same deities being talked about in all these stories. Now, but this is one area of the world, right? This is mainly one pantheon. I have theories and been doing research made that the Grecian and the European pantheons may be a different set of spiritual beings altogether, different class of angel maybe. So that's
So
something.
because here's, again, this can sound like woo woo to a lot of people. They can be like, what the fuck
Oh
are you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's important for context in something like this too, especially for people that don't quite, well, let's just put it, they have never heard this before and it sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Uh,
Okay.
So I wanted to point out. The idea that people or beings came down from the stars is all over every continent. So there has to be some truth to the idea that that's possible. They also There's also stories about what they built, what they did, how they looked, how tall they were. There a lot of these stories are very similar. Now, when you get through hundreds of years of translations, it kind of muddies the water a bit. But if you're
Absolutely.
look Yeah, so if you're looking at it from just a perspective of what is the same about most of these stories, just to kind of start at a starting point, for me, when I started to look at it and go, some of this might have some weight to it. There might be actually some truth to this. As a beginner, it's that all of them said that they came from the stars. And so like when and then you if you reference some of the Bible texts about how fallen angels, right? They came
Mhm.
down. There's stories about that. They also supposedly had sex with women.
Yeah, which
And
could be interpreted as genetic DNA tinkering
yeah,
in a lab, right?
right,
That's when
right.
you get into Inky,
Yeah,
who people would know as the archetypal Lucifer, Samael. Um, yeah, I mean this is one of the supposed bad guys of the story. He's the serpent in the garden, right? His brother Enlil being the other supposed figurehead, right? Who's masquerading as this other god. But that's the thing when you get into Enoch, there's it's very limited to, I guess, what you could talk about comparing it to, like some of the Sumerian stuff, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis, which is the Sumerian flood myth. You know, it just when I kind of started looking at the Sumerian stories because these were the original stories, in my opinion. You know, when
yeah,
you look at the Old Testament, they're mirrored from these stories, and there's something to that because when you look at the stories of these beings, it's like, whoa, these like for it's very interesting, dude. It makes it seem like what Drew was saying, like a science fiction movie.
And
one of the
everything.
things I say constantly, I don't mean to cut anybody off, but I just want to
I'm
point
sorry if
this
I
out.
interrupt y'all too. Just interrupt
If
back.
if you if you actually read these things, like these would be the best sci-fi things that you could like Hollywood couldn't make stories of, which in
They
part, if you recognize some of these stories, you'll see them mirrored as stories in movies from Hollywood, just small sections of it.
they're represented symbolically in
Yes.
archetype form and esoterically. There is that movie. What was the one movie called, man? With the two brothers, they were reptilians. It's about Hollow Earth Nazis. Um, what's it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I know y'all probably seen it. Hold on.
I don't know the name, but I do remember vaguely the movie. I know what you're talking about. I do not remember
Hollow
the
Earth
name though.
Nazi movie.
It sounds like a great
Iron
story.
Sky. Iron Sky, The Coming
Okay.
Race.
Okay.
Iron Sky.
There's these two brothers, and one of them is supposedly like Hitler, and the other one's like the president, I think, or somebody. Uh, and dude, like this is in Lil Inky, right? And so you see those two archetypes as well in all these stories.
And I was thinking of, and it's really there's no limit to the movies, even like the Transformer movies, where these beings come down from the sky, they take technology from them, which gives us what we know is like our cell phones, and like
Yeah,
it's metaphorical, but it's all related to the same kind of every culture from different parts of the planet all have a version of these beings coming from the
and we
stars.
have to allow these beings to live in order for us to receive this knowledge or this technology. We have to allow them to have what they want, right?
Yes,
Whatever
Standing.
that
Drew
is.
is plugging in right now. I can
Yeah,
hear it. I
dude,
can see it.
Drew's
He's
cooking, bro.
plugging in right now. Uh, yeah. Well, I mean, and just I know this might be slightly off of the specific topic, but
You're
I
talking to
think
me.
things. things like this are sort of what people would see and kind of recognize. But even with that, even with all those things, and if we fast forward a bit in Egypt, there's a lot of chimeric depictions on the
These
walls.
okay. So these are the same angels from the
Yeah.
Bible. It's the same. It's a fraction of the pantheon migrated to Egypt, and started their whole thing there. And that story is actually fascinating, dude. The Egyptian mystery schools. I mean, that's really, when you go back, that's where a lot of stuff started. I mean, that's where alchemy comes from, the land of Kemet. Alchemy, chemistry, right? And so Egypt's very important, and there's a reason all those statues are like defaced. Like what is it? They're all missing like their noses or something. Isn't that weird, Stacks? It's very weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they also, there's something to, I don't know, the, what's that called? The Sphinx. That
Yeah.
supposedly the features, like they re-chiseled it into a different face at some point because it doesn't match up as far as size.
Well,
Um,
it was supposedly constructed to look like a son of Enki named Ningishzida or Thoth. People know him as Thoth or Tahuti. This is the god of writing and knowledge, and many other things. Who his head was an ibis bird, not because he had the head of a bird, but because the ibis bird represented it. Had a long beak, so it would dig its put its beak in the ground, deep in the dirt to pull sustenance from the earth, just like one would pull knowledge, right, out of darkness, pull truth out, or pull truth out of ignorance. And so that's, there's some symbolism there with that. When you see these chimeric creatures, you could look at it as symbolic, but you do have to look at, I mean, we were talking about dragons earlier, if these beings are splicing their DNA with whatever else, I mean, dude, we know cryptids exist, and
some
that's
level,
the
I'm
thing.
pretty sure.
Well, I mean that's the thing with Sasquatch, right? I think we see Sasquatch in the biblical text, and we don't even know it. I think with Esau,
Esau, yeah, I was going to say that.
Shout
Yeah.
out Doc Brown, dude.
Yeah, he's the man on that one.
Prometheus Lens podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out Doc Brown.
You know what I felt for the longest time? There is no way mortal men created those pyramids by
Brother,
themselves.
look,
Today, with all the modern technology
I'm
and
about to blow
tools, it
your
would be
mind.
such an undertaking.
Hey, can we watch a video on YouTube if we're on YouTube? Probably not. I want to show y'all Hans Jennings cymatics.
You can pull it up. You can do it. I don't, like I said, shit show here. I'm still
so-
learning. But if you feel like you can pull it up, you can go for it. But the other thing about the pyramids is that they're all over the world. Like a lot of people don't even realize that it's not just Egypt. It's on every continent. There's pyramids. There's ones in South America that are covered that people don't realize are there. There's ones in China that China grow trees
Aztecs.
on to try to hide them.
Yeah, the Aztecs
theory-
in South America or Mexico, they have pyramids there too.
Yeah,
They all-
dude. The Incans and the Aztecs. It's theorized because Thoth built the pyramids using sound resonance frequency. So this guy had something, probably a handheld device. I've theorized the pine cone, even though the pine cone is very symbolic for maybe the pineal gland, or when he's holding it, when you see them holding the pine cone in a lot of the depictions, it's very symbolic of the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life, the Sephirot. And so that gets into Jewish mysticism. We don't have to go there.
The Jews.
But yeah, it's every single time. But so Thoth built the pyramids, and then so him doing that, they said, well, we're gonna revere him. We're gonna build this Sphinx for him. We're gonna honor him, and put his face on it. And later, his brother Marduk, I think, took it off, or somebody took it off. I don't know. And the Pyramid Wars And like I said, man, this does all come from interpretations of Sitchin or whatever text you can find that is translated. I actually have a friend, my buddy Josh, who cuts hair at the barbershop with my wife. He's learning Sumerian right now.
No shit.
He's an archaeologist. Yeah, he's learning Sumerian right now. So he said once he gets it down, he wants to come on and we can look at some stuff maybe. And I'm stoked for that. So, but he used the sound resonance frequency to create these pyramids. And so, and Adrian writes about this in his book, Pantheon 1, The Golden Veins. He's actually writing the second one right now. Gets into the Garden of Eden and stuff. But hold on.
This is such a
I'm trying to
huge
find this
topic
video for
that,
y'all.
like, whenever it's so easy to, you can try to start at the beginning, but then as you explain it, there's so much context to each thing that it's sort of overwhelming for like people that don't have any grasp of it at all.
Right.
And I'm not well versed on it. I know
Well,
enough to say some things, but I mean, that's sort of the problem is where you start, you're like, and then there's this, and then there's also that, and then like and it's all relevant and it's all got some truth to it, but it's like you jump from here's where it started to here's another thing, and there's so much in between that, and we
Well,
kind of lose context.
we had brought up Egypt, and
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to talk, and then you had brought up the pyramids, and so I was talking about I've been mainly talking about Thoth or whatever his name is. He basically takes this group of Olmecs and goes to South America and builds the pyramids further down the line. So he's that guy. He is the master builder of those pyramids and probably other ones, or
How much
taught people how to do it.
how much stock do you put in the idea of the story that the world was flooded by God to stop this from happening?
Um, I
You
mean,
believe that that's a thing?
yeah, yeah. I believe that the earth was flooded not once, but I think twice. One of those floods being the sinking of Atlantis. That happened. That was pre-Egypt, right? That was
Yeah.
pre all all that. But definitely, dude. Now, I mean, that's what I was talking about with all these different cultures and civilizations having these same stories about these sky gods. They have the same stories about this flood myth.
I got a question for you, Jules.
Yeah, man.
What do you think, or what's your take? Because we're talking about pyramids, and I was over here thinking about like the movie X-Men Apocalypse, where it's these four horsemen and all these powers. But I'm also thinking about the pyramids on our currency in this country, where we have no pyramids. So pyramids like on the dollar bill. What is that about? In your opinion, what do you think it's referencing, or what's the point of the eye at the top of the pyramid? I know there's like
Well,
a
the
deep dive
eye at
into
the
that.
top of the pyramid is the unfinished, because you see it's an unfinished pyramid, and then the capstone is cut off with an eye in it, supposedly the
Yeah,
eye of Lucifer, right?
yeah.
Which I have a theory that money itself may be the mark of the beast, because it has that mark on it. You know what I mean? And we hold it in our right hand, or wherever. Um, but that gets into masonry, dude, and certain secret fraternities, fraternal orders. Um,
Freemasons founded this country, so they're
yes,
gonna have their mark on
this
everything.
country
And the
was
Fed as
not
well.
founded by Christians like people think. It was founded by guys who were into mysticism and for the better part of, I mean for a better word, magic. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
if I'm going to be honest, we talked about on Rustic Gods. We actually talked about George Washington. What's it called? George Washington. It's in the Capitol building, where it's George Washington is at the top of the a Parthenon, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm fucking
I don't know, but
not.
the Washington Monument by itself is just a whole thing that like it's all this stuff that's overlooked more or less. The Washington Monument is a phallus. It's
Yeah.
Osiris's phallus. That's Egyptian.
Okay.
That's
So yeah, yeah, and Osiris, that's a whole different mystery school in itself, is the Osirian mystery schools. Look at this though. I wanted to show. Hold on, let me see. How can I pull this up? I wanted to show Drew this, to show
I
him
hope you can. I
George
really hope
Washington. Huh?
you can bring it up. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, here I'm gonna see if is this
There
showing.
you go. There. Well, hold on. Let me put it on screen.
Yeah, I don't see anything yet. Okay, there it goes.
All
Is
right.
that like the ceiling
You
of the
see,
Sistine
Full
Chapel?
yeah,
screen, Jules.
that's in the Capitol. You
That's
see
in the
George
Capitol.
up there. He's doing
Yes.
the
Yeah.
as above, so below hand signals. You know, the Baphomet. You know, the goat creature that was drawn up by Eliphas Levi, which is really it was really drawn up to troll people, and it's very symbolic. But it is a grotesque picture, and that was done intentionally. But you know, he's showing you right there that you know he believes in dualism. I mean, he is a Mason. He has. I guess I don't know. You won't be able to see his apron, but he is next to all of these other these European gods and goddesses, Roman, right? And so he's basically this is his ascension to heaven, right? That's what he's telling you through the mysteries.
This is a great example of what I was trying to relay to Drew when I said when you recognize it, like anybody would look up and think that that's just a picture of something, but not have any idea what that is,
And
right?
look in the middle; it looks like an eye. It looks like an eyeball
It
in a
does kind of
weird
look like an
way.
eyeball.
And I'm
Yeah.
seeing over to the left. Is that Poseidon with a
That
pitchfork and with the
is
Greek
Neptune. Yes, that's Neptune
Neptune?
right there below him. I think that's Aries. And then that right there, that is oh man, we just talked about her. Dude,
Athena
time's
or
gonna kill me. Um no, it is it's the goddess of victory. I think that's Eros right there though. And then there's that's actually not the full picture. Um
she's slinging arrows? Is like Artemis or I mean, there's so
I
many.
think it's Artemis, because we were talking about Artemis, and we brought up another name. Well, Diana, maybe it's the same thing, but yeah, man. I mean, this is just one example, but no, we actually like did a view. What was it like a GPS view of the whole city on our show this past weekend, dude? Is crazy. You see the Templar cross. You see the Minervan owl. You know, the owl of Minerva. And then you know you see the pentagram. You see the hexagram of Solomon. Yeah, but yeah, dude, no, total phallus though, definitely.
Somebody told me that the aerial view of the Pentagon, if you look at it from a certain angle, it's built in as some sort of symbolism. I don't recall what or for what purpose, but I remember hearing that as well. That a lot of those structures are built. Then when you look at them from like an aerial view, they represent something.
Also heard even the location of DC is for a reason. It was actually a swamp at some point, and
Dude,
it was so important that they put a ton of manpower and resources into draining it just to put the capital there.
it's on a ley line. There's a reason
That's what it is.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm such a dingus. I said a Parthenon, apotheosis of George Washington is what it's called, and it says such goddesses such as Ceres, Minerva. Um, there's also the separate statue of Lady Freedom atop the dome itself, which has some influence from the Roman goddess Minerva. Okay, that's what we were talking. So, Lady Freedom, dude, Headless is gonna kick my ass. I should remember. It's like it's the Thracian moon goddess, dude. You know, like that'll go over a lot of people's heads. But
Well, since this kind of evolved into talking about this particular thing, the statue Lady Liberty is not a lady, according to some people,
Right.
that's actually a sign of Lucifer. If you
The light bearer.
Yes. And if you look
Prometheus.
closely in
Yeah.
that context, it makes more sense than the idea that it's a Lady Liberty. That's not the only Statue of Liberty. There's statues that look exactly like that. Uh, all over there's some in France. There's United States, France, and there's another one or two countries that I can't remember that also have the exact same thing, not to the same scale, but they have the exact same thing. The chains broken on the ankle is
Mm-hmm.
supposedly a sign of his release onto the world. Uh, there's a lot of other things too that's attached to it if you actually look into it. But I mean, what this kind of draws is a bigger picture of the symbolism of the beliefs that Jules is talking about that has been passed down since the before the Bible. And that's what I was kind of trying to touch on is that the idea that when we look around and we see these things, we don't know what they are, so it doesn't register. There's not this, no one's taught this. This is you're crazy and you're a conspiracy theorist if you say anything
And,
remotely close to this.
and it's actually occulted from us. It's hidden from us,
Right.
right?
Right.
And people will say, well, they do that for our own good. The church fathers did that for our own good. And it's like, bro, King James was a Freemason. Martin Luther was a Rosicrucian. You look at the Lutheran cross and look at the Rosy Cross, dude. It's the same insignia. It's like these people had knowledge of something greater, but yet felt the need to keep it from us, right?
What I typically think is that there's factions warring for control, and we're just sort of on the sidelines. Like from what I can tell, is that there's
Yeah, dude.
factions
The
of
world's a
people.
stage, dude.
Yes,
Think
yes,
of Game of Thrones.
yeah.
I thought about this. Yeah, it's a great example of like what happens behind the scenes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like these bloodlines are fighting for power. They've been doing it for a very long time, and now in this day and age, we have all these things happening. They can do some pretty sick shit. You know what I mean? To take control, to make sure that they maintain control, much more than they did in the past. I'd say.
When they give you part of the story and they call it a religion, it keeps you away from the idea that these things are out there, that they're being used, that there's people that are doing things nefariously. Um, even this sound like people, you'd be surprised how many people have never heard the term bread and circus.
Wow.
But I mean, that's the idea is Rome built the Colosseum for bread and circus, keep the people entertained and keep them fed. And you can basically do what you want to do. Uh, that above all, the Colosseum had to run because when they closed it down, the people wanted to revolt. I mean, that's when they figured it out that there was I'm gonna probably quote this wrongly, but it's roughly about this is that they closed down the Colosseum because it was beginning to cost too much money, and the emperor at the time said, "Yeah, let's just do that." And when the people were pissed about it because that's all they knew, they
Well,
didn't
dude,
know
when you
like
cut the TV off, the kids get
exactly,
pissed. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. Same thing with football. You
The
shut down
modern day
football, and
sports.
adults
Yeah.
will get
I
pissed.
hate what football has done to men, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
turned men into slaves, like mind-controlled slaves. Jesus,
What's up,
pardon
JC?
if you're hearing that scream. I'm sure you're used to it, Stacks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
definitely.
Your daughter may be a little sweetheart. I don't know. My
She
daughter.
is, but she's a terror to her mom. Like she
Really?
listens to
Yeah,
me, so she's a
that's
terror to her
kind of
mom.
like what I'm dealing with, dude. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely. She
um,
definitely like wants to come in here probably, but yeah.
well, I mean, we are coming up on an hour, so
I mean,
if
we can keep
it's
going if
up
you
to
want.
you. If you
No,
want to
we can keep
keep
going if you
rolling,
want. Yeah,
you
let's
want?
keep rolling.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
let's keep rolling, dude.
Well, I mean, what I was trying to get at is that, see, like this is sort of a introduction, and I'm sure anybody that's been paying attention this long can
I can
tell.
come back on however many times you need me to. We could do different like episodes on whatever you want to talk about. Dude, yeah, let me know.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Hey, bro.
I mean, because I honestly, I look at you, Jules, as sort of uh, like I know some of this stuff, but I know that if there's something that we're going over, that you're going to kind of be able to nail it down, if that makes any sense. Because I can say bread and circuses, and people have never heard of that. You have, some people have. I could say a lot of different phrases and meanings. I can talk about Elohim and Nephilim, and it goes in one ear and out the other to people that don't quite have the context. And for me, what I'm thinking is that if some people at least get their foot in the door and say, "Wait, I kind of see what that is," maybe we can educate in some way. I don't know. I mean, if you turn on one of the podcasts where you guys are going, if you don't have any idea about anything at all, you're not going to be able to follow along. You're not going to be able to pay attention. So my thought was is to just cursory level, and Drew being a good barometer for it. How much can he follow along? And I'm thinking that he is. I'm thinking that at least for
That's
that aspect of it,
that's
it could
good.
be.
And that'd be good for me, to be honest with you, because I need to learn how to do stuff like that, to be able to go on a show and explain something without going to 50 different things. It's just I find so many things are connected. And so I just will start just like, well, and then that means this and this. Like I think I was talking about Baal earlier. I was going to go into something on that when I was explaining how a lot of these names were titles, and how Lucifer even is used in the Bible to reference a king who basically fell from grace. Lucifer was never a deity. A lot of people don't understand that. It was worshipped as Venus, the morning star. So in Rome, they would worship the masculine version of Lucifer is Mars.
Mars, yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean, dude, people have created this egregore, which is a thought form, right? It's a thought form that someone can create, mostly from, I'd say, collective consciousness.
Tulpa?
A tulpa, that's one thing. That's something that we talked about, dude. The tulpa would be a meditative, intentional thought form, something you try to create like a best friend, like an imaginary friend. I wouldn't say to do it,
So like if you put your mind to something, it can actually be a thing.
If you spend enough time meditating on that, absolutely, I believe so, and I've heard stories of it as well, dude. But the thing with tulpas is if you don't destroy the tulpa quickly, or I mean that's when it comes to like the occult sciences and stuff, like it's so risky, dude. It's such a slippery slope. To research, it's one thing, right? Like I research it to be able to call out the stuff and to be able to tell people like, how to recognize it, not let their kids be brainwashed, and not let themselves be brainwashed, because it's pretty easy to get brainwashed under, like you have to deprogram yourself from a lot. And once you do, you see the bigger picture. But the tulpa, man, that's one of many different types of thought forms. Thought forms actually have their whole like supernatural categories, like thought forms and things created out of thought forms, or just I guess
is that tying into the whole kind of speak your reality into existence, where people say if you focus on it, like whether it's a job or
yes,
some type of opportunity, you kind of will it into existence? Is this the same thing, or kind of?
This is the same thing. Yes. This is the same thing. And egregore is more of an idea of something manifesting. For instance, the red devil drawn up by the church to represent Satan would now exist, maybe in another realm, maybe here physically, as an egregore. Or I guess because, and I say this a lot because it's true, fear is the strongest emotion. And if
Yes.
if a lot of people fear something, and if you don't understand something and it's scary looking, you'll fear it, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing with a lot of this stuff, is they don't want people to look into it to understand it so they don't fear it, right?
Just
Yeah.
look at how they motivate a populace, right? Like, look how they motivate an entire planet. Look at COVID. Like, how did they motivate the
There's still
entire
people
planet?
wearing masks,
They
Stack.
scared you. They scared
Still
you into
people wearing
compliance.
masks.
I know, it's crazy. I
In a
see them
car
all the
driving
time.
by themselves with nobody
Fucking
else in the car.
wild. I'm like,
I
dude,
know.
I want to say something, but I don't want to be a dick. Like, this person may be slow, or they just like, I don't know. I get, like, there's some people, if they work in a restaurant or something, if they're sick, they'll wear a mask now. Just like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's like, that sucks that was implemented and now it's just a new norm.
Yeah.
It really is, because some of these people don't want to show their face. They're more
But
comfortable
I
just,
think that's actually, I was gonna say that I think it's actually part of it. There's something in the psyche that those people enjoyed about that, and so they kept it along with the fear, and then, it draws on a political line as well, where, like, I'm not them, I'm this if I'm wearing the mask. There's I think that the mask thing itself is fascinating because it's so many different facets come together to make this person do this thing that still does it with a sense of pride in a way where, like,
what's
I'm
crazy.
I'm the smart one. Look at me. I'm still
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. And what's crazy, dude, is like the studies came out that people wearing masks like would have breathing problems. Like
Yeah.
your
Cotton
shit's
lung.
gonna be
Yeah.
all like, and just because of the source that it came from, they don't want to listen to it.
Right.
Or it's like with the Tylenol stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like Trump says, don't take Tylenol. All these pregnant women are taking Tylenol and having miscarriages.
Fascinating. It really
It's
is.
like you just sacrificed your baby.
Yeah.
That's a sacrifice.
Mhm.
That is a modern day form of sacrifice, as well as transing your child,
And
mutilating
abortion.
them, and abortion. Yes, these are, you know. Now I think Plan B pills are great. You know, if you have sex in the morning after, whatever. But I don't really agree with when the baby starts to grow. I just I don't agree with it from the smallest. After having kids, it's like you want to have that kid. You know,
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
and the ramifications of it, people haven't even really seen it yet. It's just starting that people can, like, I wanna say I just seen this number, and I could be wrong, but it's something like the high 30 percentile, 37% or something like that of
yeah,
Gen X was aborted. Those are kids that, they don't exist, they're not people in the world anymore. They can't be people in the world. Guess what
dude.
else they can't do? They can't be the ones that take the place of the generation prior. That's
My
a big fucking
my
problem.
my aunt, God bless her heart, she was on drugs and she still drinks a bunch. Love you, Aunt Tanya. I know you don't watch my show, or well, she's definitely not watching your show, but um, uh, dude, she had like 11 abortions,
Yes.
and those are 11 cousins of mine
Wow.
that I'll never meet.
You were just mentioning about women taking Tylenol and destroying their unborn children. I hate to say it, like, Lord forgive me for saying it, but a person, woman, man, who would do that to try to make a point, I feel like they should not be having. These are not the people who should be recreating, procreating, and raising more brainwashed people that we have to contend with. Your kids are going to have to contend with when they're in their 20s and 30s and 40s. So, I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but it's like I also don't feel as bad in the sense of where it's like, all right, well, these are the people having kids that are causing a lot of the problems anyway.
Hey, Drew.
Uh,
Yeah, no,
it's,
you're hitting on something, dude. It's like, you know, it's going to get to a point where these people will become dangerous.
they already
They
have.
already
They they
are.
all they thank you. They
They already
already
have.
have become dangerous.
They just stopped another trans shooter before it happened who was going to attack a school. I forget where it was on. Gun Owners of America on Facebook posted it, but it was another thing where, whatever kind of medication they were on, they found a manifesto, and they talked to somebody,
Dude,
a neighbor, a kid, and they were
these
able to
these
stop it.
shooters are Drew, what if I was to tell you that every serial killer every school shooter was a government funded operation.
I wouldn't be all that shocked. We go MK Ultra and all the shit that they started with back in the day with.
You want to learn something, my friend? Buy this
Yeah,
book, Program to Kill by David McGowan.
David McGowan.
Ian Carroll went on Joe Rogan and cited it 10 times, didn't mention him once. Incredible. Sorry.
I mean, there's
Anyway,
no, there's
but
definitely something to that. I mean, and I again, that's I think the practices that. So let me just say first. First of all, when you, I know for a fact. Yeah, I think you're right, Drew, about the idea that these people probably shouldn't have kids.
absolutely.
Uh, but with that said, kids will change you. Like once you see, like, and that's not saying everybody, and I'm not saying that's wholesale because there's terrible
Yeah,
parents
because I
and
was going to
they
say,
have kids
or
and it
they'll
doesn't.
change their kids, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
which
right,
is more
right.
than likely your kids absorb what
But
you
you
teach
also
them.
see that in the reverse, and that's kind of the part where it's like, you know, every we I
That's what
this could
happened with
go,
Laney, I think. Laney that did the Tower Gang edits.
yeah.
And
What
now
happened?
he has his kid and stuff. He was trans.
Yeah, well, I knew that. I didn't know he had a
Yeah.
kid though.
Well, no, yeah, he had a son, and so he went back to, now he's a guy.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a happy ending, or there could be.
No,
But my point is
definitely.
that
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
there's when you have a kid, it tends to, if you're not a total psychopath. I should premise that. If you're not a total psychopath, when you have a kid, it tends to change you for the better because you start to realize that it's not about you anymore, and your focus changes just from me to them. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like
If you're a good
how I
parent,
do
yeah.
things, what I do things. But that's on an individual basis. It's never a one size fit all. So there is something to that. But also that, like, abortion is one of those things for me where it's like, um I consider it to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think that, like, the devil's got his fill. I mean, when you think about how, and the way that these ghouls treat it, with it should be some shame. It should be. Like, you shouldn't be, they go out and they parade it, and they tell you
They
people, they
celebrate
tell
it.
strangers how many they've had with pride.
There's
And
something very, like, demonic dark about that.
yes.
Yeah, see people be cavalier about it, and it's like nonchalant, like, oh yeah, I had an abortion with this ex, and then again with another ex, and it's to not even feel the extent of what it is that you did, it just adds to it. Like, all right, if it happened, it happened, but to be like the lack of remorse because they don't see it as
Yeah.
sacrificing a life, that is kind of where
Well, they don't look at it as a life, right?
yeah.
And some of these people are living in their absolute lowest nature so much
Would you
to
say that
where,
they were being affected by a negative entity?
oh, dude, they're opened up. Like, dude, I mean, I don't know how many could possibly attack someone who is on a frequency that low. Like I said, they are uh, living out of their lowest nature of their self, right? And in doing so, they are separating themselves from their connection to what you would call God or source, right? Their spirit. That,
Yeah.
like, what they are doing is affecting them spiritually. It is closing them off. And, like, I don't know, do you get to a certain point where you in turn lose your soul? And I say that because I've talked a lot on the esoteric book review. We've talked about how the soul, when viewed in the spiritual realm, is it looks like a flame. It's a flame, right? And some people have certain color flames, but you know, people. I mean, that flame can go out. So I've heard, if people live in their lowest nature long enough without coming back up to,
So I've never quite heard that description, but I guess I could say that there's no way that I would know, although it could make sense. But the working theory that I kind of have, because I've seen this, and we talked a little bit about this before about, being addicted to things.
Yeah.
I'm at this point, just from my experience that I've lived through, is that when you're on a low vibrational level, it tends to attract low vibrational things to you. So like,
Yeah.
the more that you're down, the more things that are down there tend to come to you, and you're kind of manipulated in that way. And I think it works on the reverse as well, where when you're working on a higher level, when you're not down there.
You attract positive spirits or
Yes. Yeah.
positive entities, because we know that there are entities in in unseen realms regardless, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so,
What
eh, I mean, do you chalk it all up to angels and demons?
No, not necessarily
Me
in
either,
that.
Stacks. Me
I
either.
I
Me
I
either.
because I just don't know, but I
That's
what I
when you
try
get
to
into the Greek gods and stuff, dude. From what I've learned from my co-host Headless is that there's like these spirits that are neutral, and it's how they approach you, how your perception of them is. That's how they manifest to you.
so the
Like
way I
nature
the
spirits and
the way
stuff.
I kind of visualize it, and I'm more than willing. I'd like to hear your input on it, but
Absolutely.
the way I kind of visualize it is that if I was gonna guess off just what I think I know, which I don't know anything because I'm a retard, but
Me either.
if I was to guess, I would say that there's sort of a dimension parallel to this, that these things can kind of see you through a veil, um, and they can kind of pick up on this vibration. So like they can see the vibration through the veil, and that vibration can attract certain things or not attract certain things for whatever that is. If you want to, and that I mean, I use the term entities because I really don't have any other way to describe it. But I mean, I've been there where I've like it almost feels like you have like when you're on the lowest of the low, if you're doing time in jail with no way of knowing when you're gonna get out, and you're looking at years, and it's the worst situation possible, and you're already years in, and they're telling you you're gonna do another 20 or something, right? Like, you're in this spot where, like, emotionally, physically, you don't feel like you can get any lower, and, like, you're in your head like, "I don't care about taking a life, I'm never leaving here," right? Like, it doesn't matter. Uh, that type of energy will attract things like, if you've ever been to a jail, you can feel
Dude.
it. You can feel it. Like,
What the fuck,
there's no
Stacks?
mistaking what's happening there.
I was just thinking about the last time I was in jail. I was going to tell you. That's weird that you even brought it up, dude. Last time I was in jail, in a holding cell or whatever, by myself, I left something there. I shed something dark when I was there. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel as heavy when I left because I fell to my knees in there and just like, yes, dude, it was a pretty crazy experience, to be honest with you. The guards that were either laughing or in shock and awe, to be honest with you. But that was forever ago. Um, but yeah, dude, no, that experience in there. I mean, just think about it, and that goes back to what I was talking about with thought forms. People can manifest these thought forms through this energy that they carry. You know what I mean? So if you vibrate at a low frequency, whatever you want to say, you carry negative energy, you may, manifest something negative, right? What happens in a jail, especially if someone dies in there, and they lived on a low frequency for most of their life, they're going to be stuck probably in that jail. Their residual energy is going to be there. You know what I mean? Unless somebody goes in there and how I don't know how it works in the
Well,
spiritual realm, but you
I mean,
somehow,
just
Like
think
give
about
the
it. Think
space an
about it like
exorcism
this.
or something.
yeah, they go in there and help it find
It's release.
they free it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's on you, I think, anyway, where like it's up to you whether or not these things are there to stay or not. Just my opinion is that because like
Absolutely.
I've lived through it. If you choose to stay in that if you choose to stay in that low vibration, then that's where all these things are going to reside. You could be in that low vibrational area and be happy, be whatever. But I mean, when you get to a jail, it's animalistic on a level that a lot of people don't understand unless you've done a lot of time. They will, a candy bar will get you killed. They don't, your life is meaningless in there and it's not a joke. And
Yeah.
if you're not able to take care of yourself, not only you're a victim, you're going to be sold for candy bars. Like, so like just for the context of it is that this is not it's 60 cents, a dollar, something like that. They will take your life for that because it's not about the value of that. It's about what happens in there and how things go. It's super animalistic. So like I don't know, it might sound a little far fetched to some people that haven't experienced, or maybe they were just sort of like in a jail for a couple days, like in a holding cell. But like when you
Yeah.
get in the Gen Pop in a serious place, it is as serious as you can think it can be. And the moment that that place recognizes you as a potential whatever, and I mean, I'm trying to keep it a little bit PC, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
they're sizing you up the second you walk in the door, and you're either going to fight or something else, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm trying to keep it PC because I don't want to
Well,
be
yeah,
real
no, I
vulgar,
mean,
but I'm
dude,
sure you get what I'm saying.
I was in the, I've been in the holding cell. I've been in, you know, the cell block, which is that, in Jackson, Mississippi, is a
Holy fuck, yeah,
hellscape. Yeah,
yeah.
man. I went in there, knew two. The last time that I was there, knew two of the black guys, and didn't have any problems.
You want me
So
to tell you
there
a
weren't
quick
any
story?
white guys in there. So I
You
mean, like, what was I to do? One of the
want, want,
guys knew me from the restaurant that I worked at. He lived in the hood over there where they would,
here, listen to this. I don't know why, but I feel like I should share this. And we're
please do.
we're we're going a little bit late, but whatever. Well, since we're
Whatever,
on
dude.
this topic, I think it's so. When I was 18 years old, I had just turned 18. They wanted me to pay a fine for like drinking in the park or something. And it's hard for me to relay this type of scenario to people that most people just won't get it. I bring this up in a way because there's possibly in my near future a really big, exciting opportunity in the reverse of this. And I wish I could say more, but I just can't. But I grew up so rough in the neighborhood that like, and I know there's a lot of people that can relate to being poor and like living, don't know if the lights are going to be on, don't know if there's going to be food in the fridge, not see your parents for maybe weeks on end, right? um Nobody actually cares. Like I was raised
Right. Right.
by the streets, dude, and this is not it seems like whenever I tell anything like this, it's almost like a pissing match with some people where, oh yeah, I know what you mean. You don't know what I mean. So when I was young, I came up from, maybe 12. Dude, we had a stolen car ring when I was 12 years old. We were selling stolen cars like New Jack City. Uh, and we didn't get caught for a lot of it. We'd go in and out like, it'd be dumb. You were a young kid, so really didn't bang you back then like they do, like they would now. But when I turned 18, I had just turned 18 and the cops knew us and, selling drugs, fighting in gangs. You think people knew who you were when you got in there, and that's helpful. The reason why I'm telling this story is because I looked at a judge and he said, "You pay $300, you're going to jail." And I was like, "I'm never paying that $300." I looked at him right in the courtroom, like, and everybody around him was like, "I'm never paying that $300" because I just didn't care. I cannot stress this enough that when people say the words "I don't care," they don't mean it like the way that it was for me back then. Did not care. Like I didn't. You could do whatever. I don't care. Like that's where it was at. I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't care who got hurt. I didn't care whatever. Whatever. It didn't matter. There was no focus. I didn't care about tomorrow. Nothing. Nothing at all. and they sent me to jail that day for 90 days. That was that was the beginning of me never being afraid of jail, because when I got to the jail as a sentenced younger dude, I walked onto the pod and I knew two-thirds of the pod. The first time I ever did cocaine was in a jail. All we did while we were there was party. That was it. Uh, it was nothing. I made, you got to imagine it's 90 days back in 1990, 91, something like that. I left the jail with almost $900. My buddy's mom come to pick me up, and she said, "All right, you ready to go?" And I was like, "No, I got to pick up. You get a check if you have money on your books." I had cash, and you got money on your books from people. We were selling everything you can imagine. Anything that we could get, we could sell. And I put myself in a position where I could get them smuggled in.
Yeah.
Um, I was saying this because, like, people don't really understand what it's like in there. The fear kind of keeps them away, but like when there's nothing to be afraid of and you don't care, uh, it changes the whole game. It just becomes part of life. You just This is just something I'm gonna have to do from time to time because I'm gonna keep doing what I'm always doing. Um, it's the strangest thing now to look back and see that. It's one of the most frightening things now that I can imagine from myself because I can't imagine it now. That's the weirdest part.
Yeah.
As invested as I
Well,
was
you're
in
not
all
the
that
same
back then,
person.
not at all.
Yeah,
And I
man.
bring a lot of that up because when we were talking about like the low vibrational thing, when I decided, there's a longer story. I'll spare you, but when I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore, that low vibrational shit sort of drifted away as I began to make. It was just day by day, decision by decision. Stop doing this. I'm not going to do that. What's the next right thing to do? I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah.
Uh, so like when I started to do whatever the next right thing was, opportunities came out of nowhere that were I should not, I don't feel like I deserve. And I'm blessed today because of that. And I that's where I kind of get some of the idea because I got stories on top of stories, shit that you won't believe. The problem with me telling stories is that when I do, if I tell the same person a couple of stories, they think I'm just making it up now because it's sort of like not all this happened, right?
I have
Um,
that problem where there's a couple stories or there's stuff that happens in your life that seems like it's a movie or something, and people, you know,
yeah, they
um,
just no,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
lying. He's making it up. He's fabricating some parts of it, whatever, you know.
right.
The main part of me saying all that is because this is where I get some of this belief that like if you are on a low vibrational level, you will attract negative things. The more good you do, the the more you'll attract a higher vibrational type of thing, and things will start to
And
happen.
people, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly, exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
people as well. You got to let go of those negative ass people, dude. Even people that you want to like help. You know, it hurts, but if they can't help themselves, unless it's someone like I said, like your close family, but even that gets to a point. Like with my aunt, you know, like she uh, smoked crack for 30 years, you know,
Mhm.
and she lives in Tennessee. Uh, you know, she now has like lupus and like all this shit. Dude, just could die at any time, you know, and I hate it. You know, she won't quit drinking. You know, she just
It,
won't, even though it's killing her.
such a waste. It really
Yeah,
is.
man, I love her, and I told her, you know, I miss the aunt that I grew up with, and I want my kids to know you as that. But I won't let my daughter meet her if she's been drinking. You know, I can't. My son doesn't care. Doesn't matter. He's already met her, and she, dude. I have some crazy shit that I could talk about. My fucking family, dude. Oh my god. Um,
Well, Jackson, Mississippi, you know, I'm
dude,
sure. I'm sure.
I was and I guess we're about to wrap up here soon, so I'll just I was a kid, a white kid who went to an all black school. I was a rapper at one point. That was when I was older. But like I was in a gang. I sold drugs in high school. But I played drums in a punk rock band. So like I wasn't like a retarded wigger. I was retarded, but I was like I don't know. I was kind of an anomaly.
You were cultured.
Yeah, man. Well, not even a punk rock band. I played drums in a hardcore band, so it was like more of a like niche genre and like DIY scene. It's where I met my wife when we were 12. And like she went through her fucking she went through her shit with me when she was an addict. That was almost like 15 years ago now, maybe. Yeah, I'd say close to that. Well, about 13 is because our son will be 13 this next year, but and so, dude, like I went to jail for the first time when I went to jail back to back in two separate counties, right next to each other for two different uh, drugs that I sold when I was 17. I was indicted for one when I was 18, and the second one when I moved back from school to come back and be on pretrial for that one. I moved back and they hit me in the other county with this one. And I was on probation for 3 years on that one. So pretrial probation for about 4 to 5 years. I think like 4.5 years, in which I ended up paying over like $15,000 to the district attorney's office. You know what I mean? Because that's all
Yeah.
they care about is the money, dude.
Oh, trust me, it's what I'm shortly. I'm telling you, with God's blessing, I can explain in great. I actually think I might do like a whole journey series about it, but
Dude, definitely.
I get it, dude. I get it. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then
it,
like just kept getting in trouble. Like I had my son, and I kind of got my shit together, but not all the way. I was working in restaurants and still selling drugs and just
let
fucking
me
up, doing
real quick.
opiates, and then you know that
I
led
seen
to
a question from it was like from 15 minutes ago. What does gray pilled mean?
oh man. Okay, man. So gray pilled. It was just how I was feeling at the time. To be honest with you, I wasn't really black pilled. I wasn't too much white pilled, and there's like the blue pill, red. I hate how we have to refer to it as pills, but it's just a figure of speech. But um, the gray pill is basically having a little bit of hope in a world of chaos, in a world of darkness, right? Or not. I don't want to say hope. Hope's such a cliche word, but
Optimism.
yeah, man, some form of like perseverance. You know what I mean? A longing to do better and thrive. And I mean, I think that's been taken from us. You know what I mean? Like, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago on Rise to Liberty, but our ancestors were explorers. You know what I mean? They created things. They were inventors. The hero's journey, all that. And it's just like we've kind of lost that. And that's what I love about you, Stacks, with the farmstead thing, dude. And I know we can't do it tonight, but I have a ton of questions for you because I want to start doing all my own shit. Like I want to buy a cow, and like I know how to change my own oil and you know do all that. So that's about it. But I
Give you the starter kit. You start with chickens, dude. Chickens.
start
Always,
start start with chickens. Okay, I was just
always,
thinking of milk.
always,
Um,
always. I mean, cows they are expensive,
right.
and they're a handful. They require a lot of time, and chickens not so much. And I get the idea with milk. Trust me, we have goats, and we plan on doing that with them. But even with my full schedule, I'm sure you can relate. It's like to get there and actually do that every day because they have to get pregnant, they have to have the baby, then they're in milk, and the only way they stay in milk is if you continually milk them. So like if you let enough time go by, they're out of milk. That means you'd have to start all over again.
Okay.
So it's not quite as simple as just There's a cow, let's go milk it, right? So it's like it's a whole thing. But chickens are really good, even with the milk factor. And I don't want to. I just want to say this: the chickens are much easier. The eggs can be plentiful, and they're actually fun. Believe it or not, chickens have like
Really?
their own personalities. Like
Yeah.
we we have like 50 of them, and they make their own flocks. They're
I hung
easier
out
to
with some
take care of.
turkeys, dude. Some
I have
turkeys.
two
They're pretty
turkeys.
cool, man. They're
Yeah,
pretty cool guys. They'll like you'll walk somewhere and they'll just like run behind you, kind of follow you. I love it. And growing up, I was scared of birds, but we went to Holly Springs to stay at our friend's farm out there, and she has these turkeys, and the whole time, and they were swallows that had nest everywhere, and I've always been freaked out by those things. But I just kind of just bit the bullet and just sat there while all these swallows flew around me and these turkeys were like sitting on my lap. I was just like, okay. And I overcame my fear of birds, you
it's
know?
super cool. And you're right. We should probably wrap it up soon. But I this is an interest point for me, so I'm just gonna add it.
I could
But
talk to you for forever, dude.
And I
we'll
got
just
one
we'll
question
Y'all
for
have great conversation
we're
skills, by
we're
the way. This
definitely
is
just have to
good.
do it
What
again
you're
for
doing
sure.
is good. Just so you know, you're good at this, and I think you could do a lot with this. You
You
already
mean
have
like
more
the
followers
podcast?
on YouTube with me than me. Yes, yeah.
I know it's weird. I don't understand. I don't. They just kind of come. I don't really. I try to keep up with content, and the weirdest part is getting monetized, and this is the worst
You're
part
a
of YouTube.
stand-up guy, dude. You're a likable guy, so I don't blame him for coming for you.
I appreciate that, but I mean, this is a work in progress type thing, dude. I just try to do as best as I can. Let me. You talked about turkeys. I have to. Every time somebody brings up turkeys, I have to mention this. I had three turkeys at one point, and they were early on. We had them for less than a year. And you're right. Like they'll befriend you. Like they'll follow you around. They'll sit with you. We have these little birds. They're called game birds. They're only about this big, even when they're full grown. They'll pop up on your shoulder
I hung out
and
with a
hang
couple
out
of them,
with you,
I
dude. It's
think.
cool as
Yeah.
hell. But the turkey, one of them got snatched by a coyote, which I wasn't even sure coyotes were around here because
We
we
have
kind of,
coyotes out here.
well, I mean, like, they're there, but there's not really ever evidence because there's not enough of them.
Man.
But I got them on the game cam, coyote coming past the thing. Anyway, we go up there later that day. I'm gonna try and make this short because it's actually kind of funny. That's why I'm bringing it up. Uh, the coyote snatched a turkey, and you could see the trail of feathers going down the hill. Right. This is a 6 foot tall fence. There's no other way to get in but the gate. That means this coyote jumped the 6 foot fence, grabbed the 40-pound turkey, jumped back over the fence, and drug it down the hill, which I was fascinated by. I was
Jeez.
like, I don't even know how.
That's fun.
That's wild.
Was
But
it a big
anyway,
coyote?
it had to be. I mean, it
Yeah.
had to. I mean, a 40-pound, like to drag it, and
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, judging from the feathers that you've seen everywhere, you'd think this thing was bald, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, my wife, I go up there with the kids, and I'm looking around, and I want to go investigate. I want to go down the hill and go see, but I got my kids with me, and I'm waiting for my wife to show up so she can sit with them while I go look. The funny part is while I'm waiting for my wife to come, the police. Now my road up to the property, it's not right here, but it's about 5 minutes down the road. The road up to my property, you can't really drive up it with like a regular car if you don't know what you're doing. It'll bottom out. It's really rough. I keep it that way to keep people away. But he comes up in this big pickup truck, and he's kind of laughing at me, and I know them a little bit, and he just goes, "Jace, you lose a turkey." And I'm like, yeah, how the fuck do you know that? And he's like, well, it's an interesting story. So they fought the turkey got away from the coyote down on the highway road. It's like it's not a full highway. It's just they call it a highway. Uh, and it was running around down there all morning, panicked because it got drug off in its sleep. And they had a rookie police officer chase this turkey down. I have pictures of this, by the way. It's on my YouTube. They chased this turkey down. They're laughing. He's still laughing from watching this guy do this when he comes up to tell me. But he's chasing him all around the road. They block the road. This rookie cop's chasing the turkey all around the road. The turkey's panicked. You have to imagine the scenario, right?
I'm thinking of the turkey just running, just like
Yeah, full
like,
panic. Like I don't know. I just almost got eaten.
making noises.
So they get the guy to grab it, tackle it. They threw it into the back of a cop car and took it to the police station and put it in a holding cell and then put it on Facebook.
Did they
Whose
put it
turkey
in a
is this?
holding cell with other criminals? Were they like, here you go, guys? That would have been great, dude. That'd have been or
Well,
like a scared straight. Put all the
it's
kids in there, and
small
be like,
town.
"Here's what we do with people in the holding cell, kid." They
Yeah,
throw a turkey in there, fucking just
yeah,
bald turkey, blood on it,
Oh
just like.
shit.
yeah. It's sort of like a
That's what I was
cockfight, but
down.
not really. Like it's just an attack turkey.
That's
Yeah,
But
funny.
attack
they
turkey.
put it on Facebook, dude. Like they put it on Facebook, like whose turkey is this? And my wife had to go down and pick it up. She videoed whenever she went in. It was sitting in the corner of the holding cell, like it was actually depressed from being processed through the fucking system.
Dude. So
But they picked it up. They just gotta imagine it's funny because they pick it up and they stick it into the back of a cop car. They take pictures of it. They put it on Facebook. It's just hilarious.
there's a turkey that lives at the end of our main road right here, and I kind of named him Frank. Somebody hit him. He's still alive, but he's wounded. And you'll be pulling out in the morning, sometimes coming in at night. And he'll just be sitting there at the front, just coming over to your car, to like greeting you. And he used to have this little friend that would always be with him, like a little quail. And it was just like this turkey with his little friend following him. And like one day, his little friend got hit. Actually, upset my son because it always made us laugh. And one day, his little friend's not there. So, Frank, I
I
love
Such is
you. I hope
life.
you get better, brother.
I have a lot of stories like that. I don't wanna keep you too long. It's
Well,
already almost
I
like
got two questions for you, Jason, because
shoot, shoot, shoot. Go
I
ahead.
remember you telling me the story the day it happened. You were like walking down the hill on the phone. Um, but I never spoke to you after the fact. When you finally got the turkey back on your property, did he have that kind of like kissing the ground, like, oh, I'm home, I'm back in my safe space? Or did he just go in the hut and kind of like just not want to be bothered? He was traumatized.
Turkey was traumatized.
He was
It
traumatized.
was it was uh
Figured.
it was sort of like standoffish, scared. If you have to imagine when the birds sleep, they're out, right? Like they don't know. And if you went in and snatched them up by the neck,
Do they
they have
sleep with
no
their
idea
eyes
what's
open?
going. No, no, but
No.
they sleep with
Okay.
their heads down. Sometimes they tuck them under their feathers. It just depends on if it's cold or not. But they're sort of oblivious. Like when they're sleeping, they don't really know.
Yeah.
So
My
if I
sister,
live in like if I live in the country but I don't have a big property, can I still have like? Because I'm sure I'm able to have them. I'm able to have chickens. I can have them if I have a big backyard.
Oh yeah. The only thing I'll say is that if you value like your grass wherever you put
My
them,
grass is
don't,
shit, dude.
well they'll just level it. Like the good part about this is an upside to chickens also. If you have property and you have problems with say like ticks or bugs or something like that, they will annihilate them. We used to
Yeah,
have a
we have
problem with
ant
ticks when
problems,
yeah,
um, spiders. Um,
they take them out, dude. I'm telling you, they will.
cool.
They're the best for that. And what I would say is if you don't want to fence everything off, start with a small fenced in area, something like a run. And once you get a small flock used to being there and they know that's where the food is, you can just let them free range and they'll come back. But the problem is predators at that point. But I mean, that's sort of
Can you train a
that's
fox to guard like your birds? Do you think?
No,
No.
foxes will eat them. I had a problem with foxes for a little bit. We had to trap them and move them. There was a fox den for 3 years. I trapped babies and got them out of here. Their number one food source is ground birds. If they can, like they'll kill
Because I've
turkey
heard of people
babies.
having foxes, for pets or whatever,
You could have a
and
fox for a pet.
training them,
It's
and
gonna eat your
they're
birds.
kind of like dogs, so it's gonna eat birds. Like if you have birds,
Yeah.
certain dog breeds would not bother chickens if
No.
Although I remember you had a dog running around on your property around with the chickens, and he
Yeah,
wasn't kind of paying them
It's
no mind.
funny.
what
This is
kind of
funny, but
dog
it's
do I need to get if I get chickens?
my dog, which I was just gonna say, literally just died like 3 hours ago.
I'm sorry about
Uh,
Uh,
that, bro.
my
I'm
yeah, it was
sorry.
sad.
condolences.
I've
I'm
had him
sorry.
Terrible.
for a long time,
I'm
dude. He
sorry,
was,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he hung out with the birds. They would play. Like he was a
Oh,
smallish dog, but like they would play
it's
with each
always
other. He'd
scary.
chase the chicken, it would chase it back. Like I had that dog for 12 years and I got it from a rescue and it was abused and neglected. We gave him a good life. He had fun.
He was a
He
happy dog.
Oh, very, very. He was
Good.
blessed. He was blessed that he he was able to live that well for as long as he did. Because 12 years, I don't even know how old he was whenever we got him. So he was old.
Yeah,
He
that
made it
sounds
a
I
like
long
a
tend
way.
to
full life.
believe that we'll see our animals again one day.
I hope
Yeah,
so because he was a good
hopefully.
dog.
I also think they
God
may
willing.
reincarnate. I don't know, to our other animals. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
well, just to put a finer point on it, that we're going to be looking for like an animal dog, like some kind of dog to have on the property, some kind of guard dog because he was a small dog. But I think maybe we're almost 145.
Yeah, man.
I want to get that one last question in,
Oh,
and it'll be a
go
quick
ahead.
one. So you
Yep.
said about the chickens before, because when I was there, you only had maybe a dozen. Now you obviously have way more. You said
Hmm.
that they click up when you let them out and they roam. There's kind of like little groups. Do they always choose the same group? Are they always kind of like these are the same five? These are always the same five. They're very.
They
That says a
create
lot,
they create little flocks out of the big flock. So like
and
there's
don't really switch it up.
not really. Like, I mean, they're obviously always going to be intermixed, but they kind of group up. They click up in a
They
way.
have
Like
their
once you get
favorites.
a bunch of them, they kind of, especially if you have multiple roosters. So hens, this is again, you're going to get me going, but hens like when roosters are around because they protect. And when you get a good rooster, roosters will attack foxes. They will attack hawks. I watched a rooster take out a hawk, which I was right in front of me. It's the craziest thing I ever seen. Uh,
Wait, rooster take out a hawk?
yes,
That's
yes.
wild.
A full
Well,
grown
some of
hawk.
these roosters are like 2.5, 3 feet tall when they stand up. There's ones that are called like Jersey Giants, and you get a good rooster like that wants to fight. Like this, cockfighting's a thing. Uh, they want to fight. They're the males. They want to protect. And when you have a rooster, it makes the hens, the females, more inclined to lay more eggs because they feel protected.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of nuance to it, but honestly, if you just wanted to get started, you could at a bare minimum don't get any less than 3 hens. They need a group, a
Community.
flock. But you know, you can expand from there. Get 3 to 5 of them. Get them used to the spot where they're always going to go. Make sure the feed's in the same place every time, and you can basically let them free range. The only problem will be predators at that point. But I mean,
Right.
they're a great benefit. They will destroy the ground if you try to keep them in an area. Like if you try to keep them in a spot with the grass, there won't be grass. They'll just tear it apart. So,
Mm.
you know, just a little something or other there, you know.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I hope you do. I highly encourage it. Like it adds a new facet to life that a lot of people don't see when you have animals. It really does. I'm not bullshitting. You begin to see how that this is the easiest way, and I always say this and people don't necessarily like it, but you can see how you're being controlled when you know how to control animals.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean
Absolutely.
we're treated like animals. I can
we
see
are
that.
treated like animals. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can see it. You can see it. Like you'll see it.
And we know there's
If
certain
you
people that refer to us as animals.
exactly.
Yeah.
indeed.
All
They're
right.
just
Well,
a little
listen,
more
guys.
clever.
I know we
It's
got to
been
go. I know we got to
Directed
go.
it's been fun, dude. I want to do this again whenever we get a chance. Jules, you want to plug anything? Raven
Yeah.
was streaming for the majority of the time that we were here, so we didn't get a
Were
whole
you
bunch of
streaming on
viewers.
Rumble?
Rumble and
What's your
YouTube.
channel on Rumble?
Stacks Farmstead.
Dax Farmstead. Hold on, dude. Why can't I find it?
I don't know.
Hold on, dude. What the hell?
I was having trouble with Rumble, like I guess the stream keys were getting messed up or something.
Hold on,
But
dude.
it's saying it's live now.
Stacks Farm. Dude, I'm typing the name in, and it's not even coming up.
That's some bullshit, dude.
That's wild, dude. No, like that's. Hold on. Yeah, you're not even. Yeah, you're not even in my live either. I don't know. Are you sure
Hold
you
on.
have Rumble?
I'm positive. I just looked at it. I'm gonna send you on Twitter. I'm gonna send you the link.
Okay. All right. But yeah, man. No. Yeah, I think Not Nice Guy does his hump day
Yeah.
thing on Wednesdays too. It's hard to find a time to stream when someone else isn't streaming, man. Especially when you share audiences with other people. But yeah, guys, this was fun. I actually had a lot of fun, brother. Thank you for inviting me on. And dude, it was good meeting you, Drew. It was very good meeting you, man. I hope to talk
Likewise.
to you again, bro.
Yeah, thank you,
Y'all
Jules.
are
Definitely.
welcome on my show whenever Stacks. You're a Patreon member, so you hit me up, bro. Either way, you
Appreciate that very
hit me
much.
up and y'all can come on. Trying to get some more shows booked for the end of the year. So, but yeah, if y'all want to follow me on Twitter, you can at Greypilled Pod, Greypilled_podcast on Instagram. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just Greypilled Podcast. Patreon.com/Greypilled Podcast if you want to support the show. Also, if you're a Rumble person, you can do locals. I try to post all the stream links on there as well. Buy me a coffee, Ko-fi, all just /Greypilled if you want to support the show. And yeah, I was gonna say, what shows do I have this week? Saturday morning, we're doing esoteric book review on Patreon with Headless Giant. We're gonna be starting the Golden Ass, which will be a very interesting book. And then doing our Rustic Gods this weekend on Chiron, the Centaur. That'll be fun. And then I'm having Stein Fox on from the Greyhorns Pagans podcast on Saturday to talk about the Nordic pantheon and like the Odinic mysteries, maybe a bunch of
My
cool stuff.
favorite pantheons are the Nordics.
Well, yeah, well, he's a Nordic pagan, so he's gonna come on and I'm gonna ask him, what he thinks about it all, and what his thing is, just kind of just for an interview,
Yeah.
I don't know.
King lineage, so the
From his
Nordic
point of
stuff is
view,
awesome.
I think that's interesting, and I think people would want to would want to hear that. Ask him what he thinks of the whole fallen angel thing. Them thinking but then I think that's at 2:00 on Saturday, and then Sunday I am going on Inquiries of Reality with Shane. I think I'll be streaming that to my channel, everybody. I'll be letting you all know. It's later in the day. But got a lot of shows coming this month, going on the Paranoid American podcast. Cult of Conspiracy at the beginning of December. I got Tomcat from the Strange Brew podcast coming on. Bunch of other stuff in the works. I don't want to confirm a few. But yeah, man, this was fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have this week. No, so 4 shows this weekend, guys, and maybe something Friday night. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I mean, you're giving Sam Tripoli a run for his money right now.
Sam knows. He's coming on soon. He DM'd me back, thank God. And he's coming on soon. It's about time to get him on Greypilled. Oh yeah, I got hopefully Isaac Weishaupt, Izzy Griffin. He finally got back to me. A few other people. So yeah, a lot of.
I just thought of something. Drew being the barometer. What do you think about everything that real quick, because we all got to go. What do you think about? What did you think? Did you absorb anything, or did it sound like nonsense?
Well, no, I mean, again, a lot of it sounded like things that, on a low level for me, that were kind of already had my antennas tingling to a degree. There was a lot I've never heard, and things
Cool.
that I definitely want to go research. And like
Yeah,
the book
dude.
you showed me, and I'm going to go back and rewatch this video. And there's definitely a lot of things I want to be able to connect the dots on. I'm happy I'm one of these individuals who's, at least open to this hidden door of all these things that people like that I'm just beginning to really learn about. So you've piqued my interest, to say the least, and I absorbed a good good deal. And I'm looking forward to learning a lot more and getting back in tune with you and doing another show when I have more knowledge. Hopefully at that point, and can I ask more detailed questions about things that you obviously know a lot about.
Absolutely, Drew.
Subscribe to Greypilled.
Absolutely.
It might
Yeah, got a lot of bangers dropping soon, guys. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Stacks, thank you again for having me on, dude. And like I
anytime,
said,
brother.
gotta
Anytime.
get you on. Gotta get you on. So
Dude, if there's anything that I can do that you think I might know about, I'd be more than happy to make time. And I really, I can't say this enough. I really appreciate you spending some time with us. I know you could be doing anything else, so we really appreciate it, man.
Amen.
absolutely.
Yep.
All right, well, we're gonna call it there. You guys have a good night. Subscribe to Grey Pilled. Have a good night.